This is Star Trek Europa, and I am your host, as always, Jeff Harvey. You can find me at the link tree in the chat, or on the channel, or in the description, or any of the places that I have, many places I've put that. Let's go ahead and do some introductions before we get started. Let's start with Kendall, since you're at the top of my screen at the moment.
Hi, I'm Kendall. I am playing a number of characters, and you can find me at Kendall the Elemental on TikTok, and that is the only place you're allowed to find me.
Yes. Brian.
My name is Brian. I am playing Yezebeth Page, amongst other characters. Please do not find me.
Evelyn.
You find him, you'll have to deal with the geese.
Yeah. So,
The army of angry geese.
I'm Evelyn. You can find me on TikTok at Caffeinatrix with 2 X's. You can also find me on by Night under the same name. And I'm playing Dr. Dasavi Onayet, as well as probably primarily this episode, our lovable rogue Romulan Teketh / Lidal.
And Jack.
Yes, hello. That is me. I'm Jack. Yes, you may know me. Perhaps not, because I've been off air for a little bit, but I have my own channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension. I also guest on various other channels from time to time, obviously including this one. But my channel focuses on a series called RPGs Uncovered, a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it can be to learn a new TTRPG. After a little bit of a hiatus because of a lot of different difficulties we don't need to get into right now, I am finally setting up season 4 of RPGs Uncovered, and I have an amazing looking game called Cyber Rats to check out by Alex Reinhardt. Really cool game, just finished. Just got done with the fulfillment of its Kickstarter. It is out. It is live. It is basically cyberpunk as little rats, and it's adorable and awesome. So we're going to check that out. No start date yet, but come hang out with me on Twitter and on my Discord channel. I will be dropping a link soon for that. I also have a game coming up probably next Monday, but don't hold me to that, over on twitch.tv/Tales from the Tabletop with my good friend, The Lion Knight, where we will be playing an SCP game, Secure, Control, Protect. It is going to be awesome. Go check out The Lion Knight 44 on Twitter if you want to learn more about that. But for now, we are playing some Star Trek Europa. I will be playing Captain Irani Ambrose and Secret Agent Tong, on top of some other characters who may come up. And I'm excited to save my Romulan girlfriend.
Yes.
Or, I mean, Tal Shiar liaison.
Something.
Just start or something. Yeah.
Princess Peach. Princess Pointy-Eared Peach.
Currently, she's in another castle.
Yes, she's currently in another castle. All right. You can find all the stuff Studio Tembo at the link tree in the thing that I did before, my brain. You'll have to forgive me tonight. I have a pretty bad headache, and I'm going to get through this because that is the right thing to do. So with that, let's go ahead and do a recap of our previous episode. Or this is part 3 of a 3-part series. So let's go ahead and do a recap of whatever we've got. We can recap. Evelyn, I think you've got the notes.
All right. So we started off last episode with Savi and Ambrose having a discussion about Lieutenant Commander Harris, our favorite JAG officer, and how he is entirely too zealous and not at all unbiased. Savi is prepared for the consequences and believes ship should not have to bear the weight of her sins. Ambrose said he's not going to let her be thrown off his ship. Lieutenant Commander Harris interviewed Kendall's character, and tried to get her to talk about her home life with Savi and her therapy sessions, and she shut that down quite efficiently. He asked her why she was having trouble on Europa. She explained that suddenly having lost her empathy is like essentially losing an arm. Do it. You can tie her shoes one-handed, but it's an adjustment and very difficult. And she joined Starfleet to follow in the footsteps of her mother. You by saying if she wants to know that she's obviously a good officer, there's your answer. And she asked about Shiji, said he's not investigating that one, but we'll ask about who is. Over on Karaya 4, starting in Brill's ship, Silva had suggested tapping into the comms to get a heads up if Brill tried to double cross us, which I'm certain he won't at all, being the upstanding he is. Tong and Teketh did that fairly easily. Got onto Karaya 4, got our hands on some prisoners' jumpsuits. Chatted with some folks, found out there are 3 max security facilities on the planet. One is currently being commissioned. 2 are active. One of them has a Romulan. One has a Romulan Klingon. So we tried to we decided to try our luck with the one the most, and after some kerfluffles, found that the Romulan we were looking for was not in our castle, but we did find Worf. So, that's the thing.
Worf
He's
in
not
the
as pretty.
former
Worf in a
Admiral
mail.
Mendek.
Did we get his name?
Mendek. Well, I don't know if you actually got it. I think you did get his. I don't know if you got his name yet or not.
Oh,
but
yes, we did. We did. Yep. So we got Worf and Mendek. Whatever
Mendek.
I wrote down there.
DEK.
That's probably.
Which is pretty much where we left off, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Silva and Teketh had found them. Tong is back in a control room by himself, doing some Tong things and hopefully not dying.
There was some other things that happened. The Europa was doing its things, and suddenly the captain decided to change course.
Right. Yeah, the captain, without really explaining and looking a bit, feeling a bit, I don't know I'm doing this, but I'm doing this. Told us to change course. We did a full spectrum scan. Dasavi reached out with her telepathy. We found 6 Romulan warbirds near Karaya 4. Picked up comms from Romulan ships, scanned from the Ranger. Captain told Suval to send a message to 34, and we had Karaya 4.
I believe you also scanned the system, not Europa, but the group on the ground had intercepted a transmission from Brill's ship, but Brill's ship was no longer in orbit. And there may or may not have been some debris.
I know. So I know we got the intercepted that there was a transmission, not that what it was.
Right, because it seemed like it was a very short and interrupted transmission.
Yeah.
Like something was started but never got very far.
Right.
A channel was opened and then immediately closed. Was what was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't believe we got debris yet.
Yeah, I don't think we know anything about that.
I thought I mentioned that, but I might not have.
Nope.
Spoiler alert.
Been there.
I took that as Brill just pinged somebody or somebody pinged Brill. It wasn't message. It was just like, beep boop, do the thing now.
Right.
Not that there was a communication and then.
Yeah, so that should have been.
Is there a
that should have been
way-
read as Tong should have been able to read that as communication channel opened, was not open long enough for anything to happen, was immediately closed or terminated. So.
Okay, but no indication that it was forcefully terminated by explosions.
I'm not sure if that would be able to something you'd be able to notice or not.
Okay.
Certainly based on the time frame, it's a logical assumption that something forcefully terminated it. Because it wouldn't have closed in a normal cycle. There's no end transmission footer tag like you get in text messages and stuff.
Right.
So,
and remind me, because it's been 2 weeks, why did Ambrose get the heebie-jeebies about Karaya 4?
Because he got the song in his head.
Yep, he was.
I had another lullaby moment.
You had another lullaby moment, and a strong urge that you were needed, or that there was something in that direction. And you made a set of course for.
Yes, I remember. I ordered best possible speed to the Romulan neutral zone, or whatever the neutral zone now is with the wibbly wobbly Dominion treaty.
Right.
And then we contacted the nearby starbase.
Right.
And informed them that there was a small Romulan fleet amassing in the neutral zone and that we were going to investigate, and requested reinforcements.
Yep. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to add, subtract, multiply, divide?
Thomas is either super dead or he's secretly a turncoat.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards super dead, but who knows?
He's off in the corner right now. So if you can see in the image there, I got him way off in the corner.
Yeah. Who knows where he is?
Who knows where he is, or what is left of his bones and various organs. All right. With that, let's go ahead and pick back up with Teketh, Silva, and Tong in the holding facility where Mr. Worf and former Admiral Mendek are staring at you from behind their walls. They're sealed in containment units with that dramatic lighting that walking out of the smoke or darkness or whatever into the light so you can see their reveals.
Malini will not recognize Worf at all, and she'll just begin quickly trying to get open the cell. Should we bring the Klingon with us? She'll say to the others.
Oh no.
To the others? To the only other?
Yeah, to Tong.
Tong's back in the command center.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
Lidal.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it's her call.
So we may have to take a stop because apparently Zoom is no longer active on my account. So we may have to switch over to Discord to be able to do this properly. But we'll go through a few minutes and we'll go. Because I was planning on switching over to Zoom, switching over to Discord anyway, just having around to it, I discontinued my Zoom membership, which now you have limited time now in meetings, which I forgot that was a thing. So let's finish up this scene and then we'll take a quick break and readjust and use Discord. So, which is something we want to do anyway. I just wish I had thought of that before because I would have been smarter. But anyway, go ahead and let's finish up the scene.
But Thomas did say that we were after a Romulan male and a Klingon male. And in a separate facility, a Romulan female.
Yeah, your primary target was a Romulan female. You also knew that you guys had discovered in your scans that there was also a Romulan male and a Klingon male that were in the high security sectors. You weren't necessarily sure that they weren't necessarily the target, but Thomas also said, we'll get out who we can
might as well
get out.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. So Silva will, not recognizing at all who Worf is, just kind of callously disregard him. Okay, I guess we'll get you out too, whoever you are.
Would Teketh know who Worf is?
Probably. You probably know who Mendek is too.
Okay.
Worf gives the snarly smile thing and go ahead and give me a roll to open the door.
Okay. Security control?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right.
Difficulty with 2.
Would my espionage focus play?
No, not espionage.
Okay.
But I will say the difficulty is going to be difficulty 2 and the complication range will be, doesn't matter. You got 1. Tong, do you want to assist?
Or
Teketh
would like to assist.
Somebody
Tong's not
assist.
there.
Oh, Tong's. I have Tong in the image right there. That's why.
Yeah, that's what fooled me.
Yeah, give me a second because I forgot about roll. We're off to a great.
Yes, it's a. This is what happens when you're off for 2 weeks.
Sure, we'll blame it on that.
In the winter turns your brain to soup.
3 weeks.
However many weeks, however long it has been.
Mm-hmm.
A certain amount of time has passed.
Yes.
This is security, not engineering.
You could probably do engineering. Increase your tech complication range by 2, though. 1 success. That is enough. The gates come down. And Worf and Mendek step out. Looks around, looks at the two of you, and I'm trying to figure out if I can do a Worf voice. I don't think I can do a Worf voice. I meant to practice it, and I never got around to it.
Just do the low register.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, just growl a lot. He looks at the two of you. He looks at Teketh first, and then Lidal first, and then Silva. Who are you? Terrible Worf. The worst Worf.
Your ticket out of here, big guy.
He just kind of nods. We should get moving.
I couldn't agree more. We've got one more person we're getting out, though. She'll calm Tong and say, "Okay, we've got some prisoners. Where do you know where we can find Do you know where we can find the last one?
Do we have working comms?
I would assume we do.
I thought because of the interference, we didn't have working comms.
I think you guys have the interference
technology
turned off now, though.
Yeah, we turned off.
You got the interference turned out.
Right. Okay.
So
cool.
You would have comms now.
Gotcha. And the other target, the proper target, is in a completely different castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
okay.
As Silva is asking this over the comm, Lidal will say, "He's not here. He's in the northern."
But Tong does have a handy dandy map of this facility, which he got after draining power from the vaporizer fence. So can I? And I believe the last thing Tong did was set off a fake alarm on the other side of the facility and sent out a bunch of comms traffic to redirect people over there. So can I use that map and find a way out for everybody?
A shortcut, maybe?
Yeah. You can find. You actually find, because you're gonna need this anyways, that there's a shuttle bay at the one of the ends of the compound that you can manage to direct everyone to. And it reads that there are at least 2 shuttlecraft there.
So the shuttle bay is the way to the last prisoner, or
no? So the last prisoner is in a completely different castle. As we said, it's you'd have to go outside and then go to the next one. They're not.
Gotcha. I thought you meant a different cell block.
No, they're in. It's like a completely different facility in a whole different location.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then she'll say, "Okay, Tom, why don't you meet us at the shuttle bay and we'll blow this pop stand."
Right. Yes, I'm sending you a data burst of a map to the shuttle bay. It should be relatively safe for you. I've directed everybody else someplace else. Might be a little more problematic for me, but I'm small. I will meet you there in a couple of minutes.
Remember, Tom. Serpentine.
Yes. Bob and weave. Okay. I'll meet you there.
And she'll nod over to the others and say, "All right, let's go."
Well.
Okay.
Can we? Is the direction we're heading back toward any of the guards that we have incapacitated, so we can arm our 2 new friends?
Sure.
Excellent. We'll do that.
All right.
Well, Tong is actually, because we stunned 2 guards outside of the power room, so Tong's gonna pick up both of those disruptor rifles and do the Teal'c thing, even though he's like half Teal'c size.
Right.
We're blending universes here.
Can
Oh, I don't know if somebody already grabbed one.
There's plenty to go
one.
around. You guys have shot enough people. There's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in like the main control station for this place, right?
You were in the control center for the power dampening system. Is that where you still were? Yeah, that's where you were.
Yeah.
So it's not the main control center, but it's a significant hub for power.
Okay. Can I steal cool things like technical specifications?
Sure.
Okay.
I think just for the sake of future reference, and we'll make a note of this roll. We'll make a note of the number of successes you get, but let's go ahead and make a roll to see what kind of stuff you can steal.
Awesome.
And then from there we'll switch over to our opening credits and then Discord and figure that out from there.
Okay.
So go ahead and give me the roll.
Right. Okay. Yes. Let's make, because I'm specifically going through the computer system and I'm getting data and technical stuff rather than like looting. So
just basically mass downloading whatever you can get your hands on.
Yeah. I think engineering would work best. What are you thinking for the attribute? Daring, reason, insight, control?
I think daring. I could see daring being the most appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to do this quickly while, playing operator for everybody else. Okay, daring, engineering. Tong has a focus in item appraisal, and he's a Ferengi. Can I use that to identify the most valuable thing that I can grab in the time that I have? Can I use that focus?
I'll take it.
Okay. Focused used, complication range 1, 2 dice. Do we have any
you have 1
momentum. What's the difficulty here? I assume it's
2
sliding scales. 2. I'm not going to worry about spending. Oh, you know what? I'll give you a threat.
Sure.
Because I like doing that. And stealing something from a top secret Romulan base definitely sounds like a threat generating problem. Okay.
All right. We'll be right back. We will finish that roll in a second. Let's go ahead and go to opening credits. Tong was in the middle of a roll. Tong was trying to steal some data. So let's go ahead and make that roll.
I believe I can just click this now. See what happens.
Holy crap.
Being Tong.
So that's 6 successes. Difficulty was 2.
6 successes.
So that gives you 4
dice.
4 additional momentum, which you can either use to save or just here's where the notation comes in. You can either put those momentum currently into the current momentum pool, or you can save all of that on a note somewhere to find out how much information you have in the future. So it's basically like those momentum would essentially be like, oh wait, I have momentum from this thing. I stole this Romulan data from earlier. I want to use that now, kind of thing.
Use for obtain information later.
Correct. You'd hold on to them for obtain information when appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to do that.
All right.
So I will add that to my notes.
Oh, well, I should never do that again. Okay. It's funny. All right. So yes, you have 4 momentum stored up in your notes for later. With that, I think we already did our intro, so we don't have to do that. We'll just keep going. You guys start making your way towards the shuttle bay. So go ahead and you guys are making your way through the corridors. You get down one of the flights of stairs and start heading towards the rendezvous point that Tong has set on the map for you. When around the corner slides a couple of Romulan not centurions, but guards They are not wearing body armor. They do have disruptors. It is Worf, Mendek, Lidal, and Silva. You guys will get initiative. It's a long hallway, it's a long corridor. It's the Romulan design stuff, so it's all green and red lighting because of the alarms that are going off. The klaxons are sounding. It's very loud and hectic as they come skittering around a corner, which is the corner you guys need to go around yourselves. But you have initiative, so who wants to do what first? If you guys don't have a decision, then it will be Worf.
Silva can go.
Sure.
Yeah. So they are aware of us, right?
Yes.
They're looking
right
at us.
Yeah.
Then I think Silva will just shoot. She'll duck behind like a beam and fire her phaser at them, trying to take them out.
Okay.
I will do another area attack, and I will spend a momentum on this.
Okay. You have a one momentum that gets spent. I need to open up my cheat sheet, which I didn't do because I'm on top of stuff today. Super on top of stuff.
That's
4 successes.
4 successes,
which is a hit plus 2 momentum.
I'm going to spend one of those momentum to re-roll.
Okay.
Much better. So that's a total of 8 damage. And with the effects, I can roll to hit another target. So I will hit both targets.
Okay. Remember that in the future, you have to, before you can do that, you have to declare your charging. It's fine now. I don't really care. But
I said I was using the area. I thought that meant, yeah.
Yeah. So area effect is one of the charge abilities, isn't it? So you have to quote unquote declare charge before you do it. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but that's
right. I thought by declaring that I was doing an area, it counted.
But yeah. I mean, I might have misheard you, but anyway, that's fine.
Anyway. Okay, so yeah, charge with my minor, attack, then do the area. That's 8 damage. I will bank that last momentum.
Okay. Allies may be hit in a complication of area effect, which doesn't matter here. So, all right, you hit the 2 Romulans. They both go down because that's the way it works in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys can continue on. Tong, you are making your way, I assume. Since you've now managed to download, you've put a bunch of information into your tricorder, and you've got your downloads, and you can hear not far in the distance the oncoming Romulans.
Can Tong be going through the totally realistic 90s area extra wide ventilation shafts?
Sure, if you want to,
Station Jeffries tubes or something.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, he's not going down the hallway. He's going through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you wrap up grabbing some information, you can hear the Romulans coming towards the room where you're in, and you quickly duck.
I climb up a pipe in the reactor and get to an access point on the ceiling.
Right. And then slide into the ventilation shaft, close it just in time for the Romulans to not see you, and then begin making your way towards the shuttle bay. Back aboard the Europa, you have set a course for what you would starbase. Were you setting? No, you were setting a course for the neutral zone, right?
For the neutral zone. Yep.
Neutral zone. At a pretty good clip, moving at warp, whatever you can move at.
I said best possible speed. We're going 9.975. We are zooming.
This ship is pretty quick, so I think it's like 9.9 something or other. I don't know. I don't have the sheet open in front of me, but it's fast boat.
9.975, so I'd imagine we're about the same.
Yeah, it's a quick boat.
After the first 9, does it really matter?
Yeah, does it really matter?
I mean, it's just because
it is an exponential curve.
It really does
Yeah,
matter.
It really does, yeah. I mean, you're going almost to turn into giant lizard speed. I hated that episode. That's the reason Voyager sucks.
That episode made me question existence a little bit.
Yeah, I hate that episode.
I love that episode.
Makes me question your entire thought process, sir.
Screwing around with people.
Like Voyager. I don't like that episode.
Bad Star Trek is still good Star Trek as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Warp 9.975 for 12 hours is what you can do in the ship, because I have that in the book, in the Bible. So there you go. You are flying at really, really fast. As you're reaching the system, not the system, but you're reaching long range scans, or medium range, I guess, whatever scans, not yet out of warp scans of the system. You note that there are several large warbirds. They are a newer design. Starfleet does have some technical information on them. They are the replacements for the Daradex class warbirds. They're
the big ones.
They're the big ones.
They're the double D to Daradex.
Yeah, they're the triple D to Daradex. Yeah, they're huge.
Can I do a quick thing while we're warping?
Sure.
Yazbeth will look to the captain, and she'll, at the risk of being impertinent, sir, do you mind letting us know what brought all this on?
I have reason to believe that there is a small fleet being gathered at Karaya 4, which is within the neutral zone. The means of which I learned this information is... How do you put this? I have to drop into Ambrose. Mm-hmm. The means in which I found this information is...
The material?
No, like you don't have clearance for it or something like that. Yeah.
Classified.
Yeah.
Above your pay grade, Ensign.
Yazbeth will nod unsurely, and I figure that we would drop out of warp about that time.
Not quite yet.
Oh, okay.
This was a getting to scene. I mostly wanted to have just a quick shot on board ship to break up the other. But yeah,
I do have a scene with Jisa and Dr. Denobulan lady
Define
that we could have before things get ship explodey.
Sure.
If it wouldn't derail things.
No, it's fine.
So whenever
this is giving Tong and company time to actually get to some on-screen time, some off-screen time to actually get to the shuttle bay. So that's what we're doing here.
I imagine there's been like a ship-wide alert. Like we are on
almost
full.
Yeah, I would think. Well, you did go
move into duty stations.
You went to the yellow alert before you guys went.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd imagine if we're heading to a fleet, we're in red alert by now.
Yeah,
Maybe.
So Jesus probably got the orders to get the
fighters ready
to get the flight deck, not scrambled. That's when they leave, but get everything set up to scramble.
Right.
She wants to go and run and find Define.
Okay.
Before ships start blowing up.
Sure. Yeah. She finds her unsurprisingly at the in the med department, getting the ship ready to deal with casualties when they come inevitably.
Jesus running down the hallway and sort of skids into the med bay. And she's going to come up and just kind of grab Define by the arm. Not hard, just like, I need to talk to you right now, and kind of move you off to a corner.
She'll look surprised and stammer a little bit of a protest, but let herself be dragged around.
I know you're busy. I wanted... Something's going on. I know you heard. I wanted to say something.
Oh, okay.
The other day, and I don't know, back at the party, I made an ass of myself. You asked some questions. We'll ignore the number of drinks, but you said something about the future, a future, what I saw, and I said something stupid. I dismissed it. I said I don't think about that sort of thing. Didn't see a future for it, and that's not what I meant, really. So maybe I can say this in a way that makes sense for somebody who does have their head screwed on straight. I've been a fighter pilot my whole career. I've been shot down. I've ejected. I've ordered people in the line of torpedoes. I don't look too far ahead because I don't know if I will be coming back to the shuttle bay every time I leave the ship. And that's what I meant. If there is a future, I'd like it to continue having this to look forward to.
She'll let out a small smile and she'll say, "That's all I wanted from you was honesty, and I appreciate it. Now, you'd best. We'll talk about this more later, but I'm glad we did have this talk." And she'll lean in, kiss her cheek, and then give her a small squeeze, and says, "What does it pilots say to wish each other luck?"
Oh yeah, don't die.
It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
we
well-
don't really rely on luck.
Well, then good flying, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, when they recover my frozen, desiccated body from the void of space, make sure I have both my antennae. All right. She's gonna turn on her heel and just run back to the flight deck.
Delphine will kind of give like a little chagrin look, kind of like arm in her, and just, "What do I do with you?" And then turn back to the sick bay and head back in.
All right. That's a good scene. I kind of wish had I known where that was going. I kind of wish I could have interrupted that with the ship getting shot. All right. Back to the planet. The group, Silva, Teketh / Lidal, Worf and Mendek, you guys all slide into the shuttle bay. Mendek tells you, "We'll take this one." And then he points to one of them and starts moving towards the other one real quick. And starts, like, he quickly slips into it, and you don't know what he's doing in there, but he's doing something inside.
Mm-hmm.
But he points to the other one, tells you guys to get in that one.
Okay.
Tong, you come sliding out of an air duct just as you see Mendek slide into one of the shuttlecraft.
Yeah, I have this rip in my uniform, my black turtleneck. I got this little smudge grease on my face, and I just
sneak out. And all right, Silva, Teketh, you see him pop out of the thing. What are you guys gonna do?
Into the shuttle that Mendek told us to get into.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a piloting check to see if you can get this thing up and moving around. It is not a Federation ship, so
yeah.
Is he saying to take two different shuttles?
He is not. He pointed to the one and to take that one, and
Okay.
he went and gotten the other one.
What?
I assume he's sabotaging the other one, or is he taking a shuttle too?
Hard to say from where you're at. It doesn't sound like it's turning on though.
Silva assumes he's sabotaging it, and she'll launch herself into the pilot seat, and she'll look around at the controls, realize that they are all in Romulan, and she'll say, "I never flown a Romulan ship before."
Never flown a ship before, but least I can interpret for you.
Okay. And then she'll start listing key components and hoping that they work analogously. And
So between the two of you, let's go ahead and make a roll for the two of you. Silva, it's a normal piloting check. Teketh, I think, what would be a good skill roll for that? Let's go ahead and do.
I think it would also be a piloting check.
Reason con.
I think reason and con would work really good. Yeah, I like that. For Silva, it would be control and con, right? I think, or daring, I suppose. But in this particular case, control or daring would work. So let's go ahead and do reason and con for Teketh, and control and con for Silva. Difficulty is going to be 3 because difficulty is going to be 3. We'll do difficulty 3. No additional complication range.
I will spin a momentum. Does my focus in small craft piloting apply?
Yes.
Okay. That's 3.
Did you roll also, Ev?
Yeah, I was just assisting, so I rolled 1. Yeah. Or
Yes.
did you want me to roll 2?
I didn't see your roll. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I have so many screens open. So you got 2 and 3. That is plenty. The ship begins to power on, and you start maneuvering as the other Romulan. Tong, what are you doing before we get to that? Since you see the group go up into the one shuttlecraft, and the Romulan go up to the other shuttlecraft. You don't actually know what prisoners they have because you haven't seen them yet. So.
Right.
Although he is wearing a prisoner uniform.
Yeah. Well, if they're doing the pre-flight thing, they have that covered. Tong is actually going to sneak up to the other ship and just kind of take a look inside, see what he's doing.
Right. He's definitely like moving his hands quickly across the various control systems. You can hear like servos and stuff disengaging inside the ship. Some kind of it sounds to you like it's going into a diagnostic mode, like a deep diagnostic mode.
Okay. Oh, I see. Force level 1 diagnostic. They won't be able to take off. That's a great idea.
He looks back, and they brought a Ferengi.
Yes. Yes.
He finishes up and then ducks out of the seat. We should be going.
Okay. Great idea. Runs over to the other shuttle.
He gets up on the shuttle, and Mendek and Tong appear on the shuttle, and the Romulan looks over at Teketh in the Lidal in the seat there, and doesn't say anything. Just kind of gives you a couple of eyebrow raises, and like you probably get the impression that he is a naval officer and can probably fly this ship with Silva better than you could.
I don't trust him.
Lidal will stand up and gesture at the seat.
He slides into the seat and looks over to Silva.
She glances over at him, obviously a bit suspicious. But you know what? I think I've got the hang of it. I think I'd rather Teketh. Why don't you come over here? I mean, Lidal, whatever your name is, come.
The Admiral is far better equipped than I am. He will be. I can translate controls for you. He can actually fly.
He gestures. The Admiral gestures. Watch your regulation flow. These shuttles tend to run hot. Points over to a symbol on your screen that's starting to head towards red.
She eyes him warily, but does what he says, and then lifts the shuttle up off the hangar deck, knocking into like a refueling pump. And why these Romulan bases make no sense? Why is everything so close together? She says, obviously trying to reflect from my own mistake.
He looks away and swipes his fingers across the keys. We're better pilots. At that point, you see a wave of Romulans heading into the bay, into Shuttle Bay, and a bunch of them go like they point at you real quick. They shoot a couple blasts at the ship, but their hand phasers don't really do a whole lot at the settings that they're on. You can feel it. This ship rocks a little bit, but there's no significant damage to the ship. And then a couple of other Romulans head towards the other shuttlecraft.
That's not gonna work.
And then Mendek tells you, like, types in a course and says, "Follow this." And at which point you go rocketing out of the shuttlecraft tunnels up into the atmosphere. You are now, the ship is quickly moving through the through space, through not space, but through the atmosphere. You can decide what you guys want to do. You've got a shuttlecraft. It has full capabilities to go wherever you want it to go. What do you guys want to do?
Do we know where we're going?
To the north.
It depends if you're leaving or if you're trying to get to the other stage, the other thing.
Lidal will say we'll give direct, not really explaining or asking for where we're going. We'll simply give directions to the north facility.
Do we got a reason that they won't shoot us out of the sky?
We do not. Mendek is we follow this course into orbit. We need to get out of here.
There is another target, Admiral.
We got one more person. We got one more person on this bus.
Actually, to be fair, you two were just kind of targets of opportunity. We weren't really here for. We're going here.
Mendek protests for a second, and then Worf kind of just Worf says something. I can't do a Worf voice right now. I can't even bring myself to try to be Michael Dorn at the moment. I don't know why. Worf says, we're not leaving anyone. And Mendek just kind of quietly accepts it and stops trying to protest what you guys are planning on doing.
She'll follow Tong's coordinates and head there.
Right.
We're in a Romulan facility shuttle, and I managed to tie into that station's security. If we could get to a point, actually, since we're using Romulan technology, I'd imagine they have a way to communicate through the interference that they set up. I mean, otherwise they'd just be flying around blind all the time. So I'd imagine we can connect into their protocols and whatnot, and we could simply just schedule a flight plan like normal and show up and walk in.
Good idea.
Chances are high the entire facility will be on alert. One breach will warrant the lockdown of all the facilities.
Well, we do have our own pet Romulan to give them a con, and she'll look to Lidal. You mind sending them a message, telling them tell them we
give you reinforcements.
Yeah, or we're trying to get VIPs out of the rioting prison.
Very well.
Whatever you think they'll buy, to be honest.
Given that he is in a guard uniform, we will opt for reinforcements.
Okay. So you're going to open a channel to them?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Channel opens, and you see there's a haggard-looking, very stressed out Romulan subcommander on the screen. What is it?
Reinforcements to the north facility, sir. There has been a breach.
There was a breach in the western facility. I have no need for anything here. There's no prisoners left here.
That's not what our intel says. Well,
Commander Talura has not Talura. That's the senator. Sorry. Where's she at? There we go. Tenora. Very similar to Talura. Commander Tenora has already beamed the prisoners aboard.
Excellent. Well, we shall go where needed then.
Secure the western facility. Commander
As
out.
you instruct, sir.
Do these shuttles have transporters?
They do.
Can it sounds like this was a relatively recent event. Can I tie into the transporters, find the transport signature, and trace that back to wherever it was going?
Try to do a transporter trace log?
Yeah.
Log trace? Sure. Give me an engineering roll. This difficulty is 3, and I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 threat. I'm going to spend 1 threat because I can't really think of anything to do with it to up your complication range. I do know what I would do with it. So.
Okay. Obviously, I had my focus in transporters. You said difficulty 3.
Mm-hmm. With a complication range of 1 increased.
Any of our Romulan pals able to assist me in using this funky green flashing transporter?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mendek is busy helping flying, so he can't help you, but Teketh can.
Yes.
Lidal, the transporters that Romulans use are actually quite different from the ones the Federation uses. Same overall, underlying principle, obviously, but 2 very different ways to go about doing it. A lot more than just the beam effects, which is actually a really interesting cosmetic choice. That various that doesn't matter. Can you just make sure I'm doing this right?
Yeah. So you've no, not that one.
Oh, I see. That is really unintuitive, but actually quite brilliant.
All right, give me that roll.
Control engineering. Do I want to just keep giving you threat?
I did just use 1.
Yeah, you just used 1. Yeah, take another threat. I'm rolling another die.
Okay.
On being Tong.
I'm not here to help you this time.
Good job.
3 hits.
3 successes. That is good. So yeah, you tie into the transporter system at the base, and you get a quick trace log. They were beamed up by 1 female prisoner, Romulan, was transported to an orbiting warbird.
Oh, that is really not that's really not good. Yeah, she's in a warbird right now.
Well, if we can trace her, can we get her back?
I'll do it.
Mendek looks at the doll
Passive
for a second.
scan, I'm sure it has shields up at this point.
Oh yes, yeah, shields are up. You can tell which one it is. It's like the registry and all that stuff for the ship that it is. Mendek looks at Lidal like, like you're some kind of fool. Shall take a shuttlecraft against a warbird, Doesn't say anything and then goes back to it looks at Worf, that doesn't say anything and then goes back to his control panel.
We can. What if we were? There's an old Maquis trick to bleed all the engine energy away. It makes you almost invisible to sensors. It won't last long, but it might give us what we need to get close to the ship.
If you could line it up correctly and lower our emissions, I might be able to attenuate our shields to match the interference generated by the machines on the planet. I mean, you'd be hitting a bullseye from kilometers away, but all we would need to do is get in past their shields.
I am spending a threat and introducing 2 new Silva on your sensors, on your scanners. You note there are 2 shuttlecraft coming from not the base you guys left. That one is not coming with you, obviously. But there are 2 shuttlecraft that are heading your way at a high rate of speed from one of the other outposts. They are not. Their shields are up and their weapons are charged. They don't appear to be friendly.
And they're on an intercept course?
They are on an intercept course.
Okay. Would we be able to go in stealthily using electronic warfare measures while dodging probably not. We probably wouldn't be able to do both, right?
Probably not. Well, first thing you need to do is either try to evade the shuttlecraft or just GTFO into orbit, and then try to get out. You could. It would be a very tricky maneuver, but you could try to get close to one of the to the one warbird. You guys could probably get through its shields because shuttlecraft can do that. Depending on the shield frequencies and all that stuff, it would be a difficult task to do.
Sure.
But you could get within their shields, lower yours, try to beam someone out, all while avoiding being shot by the warbirds and being shot by the shuttlecraft. It's a thing you could do. It would be difficult. Or you could do other things. I'm just putting that out there. It is an option to do. It would just be a couple of rolls and it would be pretty hard.
So that's one possibility. The other possibility is we can try and dogfight these things and then try and get onto the warbird afterwards.
Right. Assuming, yeah.
Does anybody else have any other ideas?
Noting that warbirds have similar capabilities to Federation ships, they can shoot into orbit. The warbirds can. It would not be as easy to hit you, but the longer you are in system, the more risk you are at. So,
can Lidal, do you know any like secret codes that maybe we can try and paint those shuttles as traitors? Maybe the warbird can help us. We can kill two birds with one stone.
With a shot.
Okay.
My question for you, Jeffrey, is can we get a read on these other shuttles? See if other warbirds, are they all enemies, or perhaps any of them?
Oh no, they are all definitely not there to help you.
Okay.
They are the Romulan. Oh man, what did I call them earlier? I have it written down. They're the ones that are the Praetorian Guard, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they are almost certainly, given the information that you have, they're almost certainly here on the orders of the current acting head of the government, who is definitely not a friend of any of you.
Well, let me see what I can. And I will try to.
The Talpri X, that is the name of the group, the Praetorian Guard, which are under the command of the acting proconsul, which is Silva. So, which Mendek will tell you if none of you knew that.
I knew that, and I thought I'd taken this screenshot you sent me, and typed it out at one point for reference.
It's okay.
That is so I will attempt to configure the signature on the other shuttlecraft, so they look like trouble.
All right, so you'd have to basically project, because you don't have access to their information, project something onto them. So you could do it. It would be probably you and Tong. I would say it's probably a daring and engineering check for Tong, and probably a daring and security for Lidal.
Terrible. Awful.
It's a high risk maneuver. It
is, but my daring and my security are shite.
What do you got? You got. I'd do engineering too. That would work. You could do engineering for yours, and then I think espionage may apply to that, which you appear to have. And for Tong, I would say the electroplasma systems probably would. Well, no, actually, I would say replicator technology would probably, because you're trying to replicate. It's a stretch, but I would allow it.
Oh, right. Actually, I'm the one eating this one.
You should be rolling 2 and Tong should be rolling 1. So there we
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
better
Well, we can tie the transporter system into the communication system, and we can use that to bounce the field between the two different shuttlecrafts' shield emissions, and scramble their shields to make them look like something other than Romulan shuttlecraft.
Excellent.
So it's a really sort of janky way of doing this. But since we don't have the command codes, I suppose that'll.
Yeah, difficulty would be.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to say difficulty 3, but we'll do. We'll still do 3, but we'll do succeed at a cost. So. So
I already got 3. So
yes, you already got.
Oh, you
3.
do have 3. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I read that as 2 for some reason. I don't know why. Difficulty was 3. You got 3, so that happens. They're closing in. So Silva, go ahead and give me a quick piloting maneuver. And it'll be counter. I'm going to try to roll with it, and then we'll go from there. Roll 2 die 20.
Okay.
And I fail. Oh, yes. You are clearly outmaneuvering them. You gain a momentum.
All right.
Yeah, they're closing in, but you promptly take a couple of swift actions to keep them from keep yourself from being in their sights, in their weapon targeting sights. At which point, a communication comes in from you are tracking a communication coming in from the ships in orbit to the other 2 ships. A few seconds go by, and then they are both evaporated.
Oh.
Clearly, they didn't believe whatever they were being told, and both ships are made less than whole from orbit. There's the explosion kind of. What's that?
We take some damage on our ship and use that to request that we dock with the ship for repairs.
You guys, as they explode, you guys do get rocked a little bit. Not too much damage, but enough that you could exaggerate it if you wanted to.
Sure. Lidal, do you want to send them a hail?
no guts, no glory. Yep. So send a instead of hailing, send a distress signal, or send a brain no work, typey communication to them.
A text.
Yeah, that thing. Sure, close enough. Be taking damage from the enemy shuttlecraft, requesting permission to dock for repairs.
All right, give me. This is going to be a difficulty 3, daring and persuasion. Daring and that's not a thing. Daring and security or command.
I have persuasion as a focus.
You do.
Yeah.
I will spend that momentum.
Nice.
Awesome.
Take 3 on the dot.
You get a confirmation to that you are able to dock aboard one of the ships, and you are given the directions to which ship to go to. So you guys dock, or I assume you're heading towards the ship to dock. Obviously,
Yep.
Scanning for female Romulans aboard that ship isn't going to do any good. There are
No.
several.
But we know which one she was beamed to, right?
You do know which one she was beamed to. That's true. Yes, and that is
Beam aboard all the ladies.
yeah. Brawl would be. You could make some money.
Oh,
I
He
know.
would be so happy with you. Do you want to make him happy?
You do know that as you approach orbit that there is no Ferengi ship in orbit. There is. You are picking up debris though that is consistent with Brohl's ship. It appears to have been quite distinctly unalived.
yeah. I'm not following. I'm not falling for that nonsense. Do I pick up a transporter signal or an escape pod trajectory?
You do pick up an escape pod trajectory, a single escape pod that headed towards the planet.
He had a cloaking device, so I think it's quite possible they're still around.
So you are moving towards docking with the Protector, which is one of the ships, one of the big Romulan ships. Okay.
But is it the one?
It is not the same one.
Okay.
Well, that's a problem.
That's a problem. That's what I rolled a 1 for.
Yeah. Does anybody have any ideas because as soon as we dock, they'll realize that we're not who we say we are.
Yeah. But you do essentially at the moment you are getting free passage into orbit without being evaporated. So you don't have to move towards that ship if you don't want to, but you definitely will want to make a decision quickly as you are approaching the ship.
We're definitely not going to get a warm welcome on.
Yeah.
Here, let's just stall for a little bit. And can I go over to like one of the engine, like redundant engine exhaust capacitors and just pull a lever and we start like trailing
Plasma.
Yeah, start trailing plasma out of one of our little thruster.
Yeah, that doesn't even
banks.
Wouldn't even require a roll.
Yeah, let's just limp about for a bit. Take a look around.
Can we? I'm guessing the shuttlecraft don't have probes on them, but would there be a way to throw our signal so it looks like we're heading toward the Protector when we're actually heading toward if we can determine what ship she's on?
Probably not a good. I mean, you might be able to figure it out how to do it on a Federation ship, but you'd be hard pressed to do it on a Romulan ship. I can't think of any way you'd be able to do it right off the top of my head, but you could probably come up with something that might work.
Since we're leaking exhaust plasma, if this were to catch, we'd probably explode.
Yes.
I don't recommend that we actually explode, but we can make it look like we explode, and then Silva, you could do that cutting power thing and coast where we want to go, right? Is that something we could do? I don't know a lot about actually moving ships.
We can give it a shot. I normally wouldn't try it with this many ships in the area. Any one of them could detect us and we'd be done for. But it's worth a shot, I suppose. I don't see a better idea.
Okay, well we probably have a few minutes. Leaking all this stuff. Two things I'm a little worried about. One, we forgot about Thomas. And two, let's say we actually get this Romulan lady. What then?
Then we find the fastest course out of here.
Yeah, but we're in a shuttlecraft and they're in 6 gigantic warbirds, and they can go like warp 9 point cough, and we can go like warp 4 something.
You raise a good point, but I don't know. Maybe our best bet is to go out in a blaze of glory.
We should take this opportunity while we can to simply escape. If you're going to pretend as this shuttle has exploded, you should go to warp immediately. They won't detect any debris, but they will also suspect that the ship was destroyed. They won't have to worry. We won't have to worry about them detecting the movement of our ship. We can simply go to warp.
Does
I hate
Teketh know who we are saving?
You probably have a very, very strong suspicion. It was never specifically stated, but
We don't have a name.
you don't have a name, but I mean, that's who you work for. That was your contact, one of your main contacts. That is probably, yeah. It wouldn't be a very big leap for Teketh to put that together.
I hate to say it, but I think he's right. I don't see. We're not going to be able to go toe to toe with those warbirds, and we're not going to be able to fight our ways to the bridge. I hate to say it, but I think we should take the birds we have in hand.
We're being hailed. Whatever we're going to do, we need to decide now.
Well, I'm not one for suicide missions. I think, unfortunately, this may be a live to fight another day situation.
What about politics? Romulans are always fighting with each other, right? Can't we, I don't know, pit them against each other? Say this sub-commander is sleeping with that sub-commander's wife or something?
They are no longer hailing us. You can see out the viewfinder that the ships are beginning to move.
She'll get in her. She'll move over to the console. Silva will move over to the console and say, "All right, command decision. We're scramming the mission. Tong, make us look dead."
Okay, I'll try to make us not actually dead. This, very, very thin line margin here.
Difficulty will be 3. I've spent 3 threat to upgrade the complication range.
So I take it one of us can roll and the others can assist.
Yes. So I think we should do this in 2 rolls. Okay. There's the flying the crap out of here roll, which would be Silva. And then there's the blowing it up and not blowing it up roll, which is Tong. And you can have an assist from either. We'll have Tong go first, because the complication to that may change the way the outcome goes. And Teketh can aid either of those 2 roles, and Mendek will assist in one of them.
Teketh is better suited to assist the not really blowing up.
No, I think you're right.
I should have Worf do it, but I don't have Worf stats in front of me. All right. So go ahead and give me the first roll. Let's do it as I don't even know what, engineering and daring to not explode. And then daring and con for the other roll, with whatever the appropriate assist would be.
Okay. Oh boy. Difficulty 3.
Difficulty 3, and I spent 3 threat to increase your complication range.
Mm-hmm. All right, take another threat back. Oh boy. We don't fail enough rolls in this game. Let's go.
Go.
Tong being Tong.
Yes!
Tong cannot fail.
Thank you, Tong.
All right, so the explosion goes off Silva. Give me the quick roll. You do not have any additional modifiers or difficulties, so the difficulty is just going to be 2. And I am going to spend my last 3 threat that I have at the moment, because I know I'll get more later probably, to increase your complication range as well.
Okay. I will give you 2 threat to spend that momentum and roll an extra die. So 4 die total. Does my espionage apply?
No, but if you have any kind of like small shuttlecraft piloting, that kind of stuff would. Fighter piloting, small shuttle piloting, anything like that.
I do have small craft piloting.
Yeah, so that would apply.
All right.
Holy crap.
Hell yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. All right. You guys go to warp, and they I was gonna have them maybe chartering you or something, but they did not. So you are on your way, and you've got 4 momentum you built up. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I'm really surprised we're not exploded.
Silva will cover her face with her hands, and just go, I didn't expect us to get out of there.
Good work, both of you.
Right. Okay.
Do you suppose Tom made it out?
Maybe. He was kind of going 1 against a dozen or so disruptor rifles when he told me to run, so maybe?
I'm gonna spend my last 2 threat, but I will tell you what that is for in a moment.
Did Thomas give us some kind of contingency where we were supposed to go? No. This is just a poorly planned mission. That's the problem. We didn't even know what we were after.
Yeah, there was a lot of need to know information that we were kind of deemed we didn't need to know because they assumed things would go the way they planned, and things never go the way anybody plans. So, I mean, we're supposed to be on Burl's ship right now, and we're totally not. He's probably dead, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. What's the nearest Federation ship or colony?
The nearest Federation base is what I say it was. I said what it was before, but I can't remember what it is now.
173.
173, I believe. Let me look at the map of the Expanse, and I shall tell you again. Starbase 234. 234 would be the nearest to where you currently are, or possibly Epsilon Outpost 11. But you do detect a ship that is. Well, you probably actually wouldn't necessarily detect the Europa at the moment. But there are the Ranger is located there and at Starbase 234, and Europa is somewhere in that system or near that system as well, or last known was in or near that system.
But we're talking a while to get there at the speed we can go in this shuttle, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's gonna be a trip.
Well, settle in. It's gonna be a little while.
After a short stint in warp, Mendek looks at the controls and he's been running through the sensors. Like, I believe we have a problem.
Oh, good. Just what we needed.
I think we have a lot of problems.
Teketh will come over and look at the HUD.
There are 4 Romulan warbirds that are following your warp signature. They are pretty far behind you. They took them a while to figure out what was going on, but they are definitely following you. They are catching up, but it will take them a little while to catch up.
Well, I'm going to scan around for any habitable planets that we can set down on. At the very least, we can make it hard for them to catch us.
Maybe something with a high magnetic pole. That's something they always say in those hollow novels. You just sit on top of the planet and they can't see you.
Yeah, you can find a couple of uncharted, uninhabited worlds. There's not much here, not much between you and Starbase 234 that's inhabited. But there's definitely some stuff that you could do. There's also the Azure Nebula, which isn't too far. It would be past Epsilon Station, though, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, your best bet would probably be like there's a couple of asteroid belts, or a couple of planets that are non-inhabited.
Really nasty, like class L planet that's like 110 degrees in the shade.
The kind of places that you don't really want to be on the surface of for very long, but you could certainly do it if you wanted to.
Are there any habitable planets, even if they're not habited?
Nothing that you're picking up immediately.
Okay.
Not in this area anyway.
Right.
Perhaps anything, any sort of, I Why is the brain not helping? We got stuck in one once. It was full of meteors and lots of things that messed with our sensors.
A nebula?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it Nebula?
Well,
Yeah.
that would be your best bet, but the Azure Nebula is actually past the Epsilon, the Starbase station. There is one, but you'd be better off going to the Starbase.
Right.
Or not Starbase. It's an outpost.
Yeah.
Which would not fare for very long against four warbirds, whatever it is. But it would be a better defense than a shuttlecraft.
Can we do a science roll to try and find the best place to hide?
Sure.
Okay. My science. I'll go ahead and do the roll.
I'm gonna say my science is pretty legit.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do it then? I'll assist.
But reason science or insight science?
Seems like it.
Reason probably work best.
Okay.
You've got a few minutes, so you can take the time to do it.
Dice and iron.
I'm going to say that your difficulty is 1 because Worf is able to give you tactical specifications and stuff.
Good, because we got 2.
Oh, jury roll, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it make the noise.
Yeah, it's not making the noise.
Yeah.
Makes the noise for me. I think it's just on your side.
It doesn't make the noise if you're on that tab and you're on that window. It assumes you're looking at it.
That may be. I have it open in a separate space, so that might be why it's doing it. All right, so yes, you managed to find there's a comet that isn't too far. You could probably get into the tail of the comet and make some time that way. It is not moving. I mean, obviously it's moving at sub warp, so it would be, you'd still be moving, but it would be difficult to hide in there, but it would be a good place to hide. As far as blocking sensors goes, it's not great for the shuttlecraft, but it's, sensor wise, it would be a good place to hide.
Sounds like where we'll go. I would like to spend a moment to create a false warp trail. So, like, have the shuttle go into warp, then kill the engines, then turn around and impulse back to the comet to help our hiding.
Okay. Let's say the difficulty for that is going to be 3. 3.
Okay. Is this okay?
Some kind of con. It's either daring or control. At this point, I think it would actually be control because you're trying to do very precise things.
Sure. Does my small craft piloting apply?
Yes.
I would like to spend 3 momentum.
Okay.
That's 4 successes.
Nice. So it gets 1 momentum back. All right, you managed to make it look though as you managed to drop out of warp. You managed to warp past your area, drop out of warp, and then make a couple of maneuvers that would be sufficient at losing a trail, and then should be sufficient at losing a trail anyways, or at least delaying it. And then you're far enough out of the comet, you probably would want to at least low warp back. But you feel as though you're probably pretty confident in your ability to have at least delayed them in this area for a while.
You like zigzagged microburst warps.
Right.
They're hard to follow.
Right.
I'll just mention this is an old Maquis trick that we learned. We
Right.
used to dodge the old Galaxy class ships this way.
Do a handful of like short warp bursts so that you kind of flood the area with warp signatures, and it'd be hard for them to track down which one is the right one, and blah 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 blah. And then you head back to hide in the tail of the comet for a little while, hoping that they will get tired of looking for you. You watch it on the sensors as the warbirds pretty quickly, since you took all the time to do that, catch up to where you were, So you just barely get back to the comet before the warbirds show up in the system in the ruse system. And they begin conducting short range and long range scans. But you guys have some time.
We've turned all the lights off in the shuttle, so it's dark and quiet.
The life support is probably still on, but maybe lowered, so it's starting to get a little chilly. Back aboard Europa, you guys have been tracking this situation, or at least the warbirds. You probably didn't really pick up the shuttlecraft, but you certainly would have gotten the warbirds. 4 of the 6 warbirds have moved off in pursuit of something, and are heading into Federation space. The other 2 warbirds are following suit behind, but it took them a little longer to get going. So they were delayed behind, but they are en route to the same system that the other 4 are in. So you will, if you head that direction, you will end up encountering six warbirds at some point. They are, however, in essentially in Federation space now, or at least right on the edge of it. They are no longer in the neutral zone, but it's in that kind of unoccupied no man's land between the Klingons and the Romulans, the Klingons, the Federation, and the Romulans.
So they're not yet in official Federation space.
Yeah, so I'll move you guys over. I'll move you over to the map on the Expanse, and I'll show you where we're at.
Okay.
So this is you guys are right in this area. So that's 0814. It's quote unquote no man's. It's quote unquote disputed territory between the Federation, the Romulans, and the Klingons. It's not really disputed. The Federation has star bases there, so it's more likely to be Federation space. You are definitely between Federation space and a Federation outpost, though. So, and a star base. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is unofficial, unincorporated Federation territory. Certainly not where Romulans are supposed to be. And they are close to Starbase 234. So they could make Starbase 234 within an hour, probably.
Paige will point out Starfleet protocols demand that we show the flag, and they're a little bit outdated before the Dominion Wars, but it's a good excuse.
It is also almost directly, they are in the system that you are almost directly headed towards. Like something, like it is a high coincidence, but that is pretty much where you were headed when they got there.
That is the plan. We make our presence known. Unfortunately, currently, that is one little. What class ship are we?
Lunar.
One little Luna class against 4 Deridex warbirds. We'll show the flag. We're within. We would certainly be within contact and sensor range of Starbase 234. So if they do try anything, it will be on record, and I think that's about the best defense we're going to get.
I'm showing the Ranger is on station on 234. That's a little bit of backup.
Very good. We don't have a lot of ships out in these parts.
These are the Valdor type warbirds. These are the big ones from the end of Nemesis. So, the bigger than Deredix.
Ah,
the new version of the Deredix, basically.
I think they're actually smaller than the Deredix.
They might be, but they're the new version of it. So.
Sure.
Similar in design to the Deredix warbird, the blah 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 type is a large fixed wing vessel. Blah 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 blah. Tactical blah 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 blah. It's badass.
So are we close enough that we can drop out of warp and engage them?
Yes.
Like in combat, but
Yes. Yeah. You guys were pretty close because, again, this is pretty much the direction you guys were headed.
Sure.
It's pretty much the system you were headed to. So you guys can drop out of warp. And
So we can position ourselves between them and the starbase. So it looks like we are
yes.
there because they're encroaching on the starbase.
Yeah. You're basically coming right in line with, if they were headed to the starbase and you were headed to intercept them, you are right on course for it.
Gotcha. Is the map one of the handouts we can reference?
It is. I don't know if you guys have the ability, but it's on the drop down up top.
No,
yeah. I don't think that's one of our.
I made it as a map background, so I move you over
gotcha.
to it. There you go. I actually have two maps that are map backgrounds. This one and the whole of the whole map. There you go. You can take a look at it.
So we come out of warp.
Yes, come out of warp. There are 4 warbirds, and you are immediately hailed by the lead warbird.
On screen.
A rail thin, almost serpentine looking woman comes on the screen. She's very gaunt of features and a very sharp looking individual, high cheekbones and such. I am Commander Oren of the Talpriax. State your business in this system.
Commander Oren, this is Captain Arani Ambrose. I was about to ask you the same thing. You are seemingly in a very quick trajectory to one of our star bases, which is well past the historic neutral zone. I believe it is my place positioned here between that border and one of our star bases to ask you what your business is in this region of space.
The Romulan Star Empire is in pursuit of known hostile forces, both to the Federation and to the stability of Romulus. Your starbase is quite safe, Captain.
Well, that is some dire news. Of course, if this is a concern for both of our peoples, given our cooperation in the recent Dominion efforts and a hope of our continued cooperation, if you would give us the details of what it is you are looking for, we may be able to assist you. You are in our backyard, as it were.
We are in unincorporated space, but we are in pursuit of a Romulan admiral. Not admiral, I don't want to say that, but in pursuit of a Romulan Romulan dissident who was being held at a detention facility and has made a recent escape with the help of, well, we don't know who exactly. This dissident, though, is an extreme threat. Strongly opposed the alliance between the Federation and the Romulans, and is suspected of treasonous activities in Romulus.
Well, that certainly does sound like a dangerous individual. I believe your people have made it quite known that your detention facilities are very difficult to escape from. If such an attempt was successfully made, it would certainly be in both of our best interests to get to the bottom of this.
I do not disagree. However, we have 6 ships patrolling the systems at this time. And if they have made their way outside of Federation space, the jurisdiction is clearly ours and ours alone.
Jurisdiction is an interesting legal distinction that has been indistinct since the Dominion War and our, well, admittedly at sometimes strained cooperation. I'm sure you will understand that I mean no offense by this, but 6 new Romulan starships this close to not only our border, but one of our outposts and one of our star bases requires a proportional cooperative response from Starfleet. Now, there are official means for you to request our assistance in doing this, but I understand that that will take some time and you are looking for individuals on a time sensitive basis. So I would recommend it is in both our interests to settle this amicably.
You are correct. The jurisdiction is a complicated concept in this context, but I do believe that my numerous new warbirds precipitate that jurisdiction is less complex at the moment. If you wish to observe, Captain, you may, but stay out of my way. Do not interfere.
We will maintain observations of our borders and assist you should you need any help. But I will advise that you be mindful of where that line is. You are being watched.
As are you. At which point she turns off the screen.
Can I pick up anything with my empathy? And then turn to Dasabi and give her that same look.
There's definitely a tension in her voice, in her sense. She was not anticipating seeing a Federation ship quite so quickly. Because they came out of warp, looked around, and then you guys came out of warp. It was almost not simultaneous, but within a few minutes. It was definitely a much faster response than they had anticipated. And she's clearly under some pressure.
Can we pull up? Yeah. Who can I delegate that to? I want some information on Aren. Somebody else in the scene.
I would imagine that
Yesbeth
could do that.
Yesbeth, see if you can pull up any information on this Commander Aren and the Talprex. I want to know who we're dealing with. She's under pressure from somebody. I want to know who that is and what extent that force, that pressure is exerting on her.
Okay. Can I just spend momentum on an obtained information?
Yeah.
Spend?
Sure.
All right.
She is a one of the fast rising quote unquote stars of the Romulan Empire. She's made a name for herself in a few situations. She definitely served with distinction during the Dominion War. She is known for she made a reputation for herself basically by not taking a whole lot of guff and being very quick to the trigger. She's also been known for a lot of unusual tactics involving things like sensor manipulation and hit and fade type attacks. So she's quite adept at using her cloaking devices and things like and sensor stuff. Essentially, electronics warfare. Something that she's quite well known for. She is a direct. She has a direct connection to Silva, which is the current proconsul. She is not Tal Shiar, but she is kind of the next best thing. She's kind of the Tal Shiar's. I don't want to say puppet. That's not the right word, but she's definitely like a A supporter of the Tal Shiar. That's the word I'm looking for. A strong supporter of the Tal Shiar.
Shiar?
Yeah. Yep. She's not Tal Shiar, but she is definitely a strong supporter of the Tal Shiar. And the Tal Priaxia they are the elite. They are the top rung of the best kind of in Romulan, in the Romulan Empire. They're the ones who are, again, the Praetorian Guard. Their whole thing is they directly serve the Praetor and the proconsuls.
I'm probably misremembering then. I thought the Romulans were trying to kick out the Tal Shiar. No?
They were.
No, you are not misremembering.
You are not misremembering. Yep. You are definitely not misremembering.
But this high-rising star right next to Sela is pro-Tal Shiar.
Yeah. Well, remember that Sela was in charge of the Tal Shiar before. And now she's the proconsul. So something has happened in Romulan politics that has moved the head of the former head of the Tal Shiar into, and she's no longer the head of Tal Shiar, but the former head of the Tal Shiar is now the highest ranking person in the Romulan Empire who is still actively making decisions because the Praetor is out of commission at the moment.
So they're bringing the Tal Shiar back, but they're bringing it back Sela's way.
Kind of, yeah. They're definitely either that or they have used the confusion of the Tal Shiar being disrupted to launch essentially a pseudo coup. I'm not sure how much of this information you actually had. Teketh was supposed to give some of this information to the rest of the group, but I'm not sure. But I will get you more of this information as soon as I figure out how to.
To talk to these characters anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that information never really came out because Silva spent more time being suspicious. And
right. It wouldn't have gotten to the captain
really much. Then
it wouldn't have gotten to the captain anyway. So.
But yeah, definitely wouldn't have gotten made to captain because captain hasn't seen Teketh since.
Right.
Got taken off the ship.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that Ambrose tries to keep up with Romulan politics as much as he can.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot going on. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and spend one more of those momentum, and I'll give you a good rundown of what's going on as far as the Romulan politics goes.
Okay.
The Praetor Hiren took ill several months ago. His illness allowed for the Tal Shiar under the command. The Tal Shiar, which was on its last legs, essentially, Commander Sela denounced the Tal Shiar, made some political moves, became a proconsul, got to become a proconsul, and now that Hiren is ill and not in the public eye, Sela is now basically the de facto leader of the Republic of the Empire at the moment. With the Tal Shiar is kind of taken a huge step back. Like they're not openly active. Let's see what else can I tell?
She's playing politics. She's like, yeah, the Tal Shiar, it's no big deal. We're dealing away with them, but secretly,
right?
She's trying to bring that back.
Yeah, since the Tal Shiar were known to be involved with the House of Duras and the House of Varnak, and that all came out. She has distanced herself from it. They've lost the Tal Shiar lost a lot of support from several of the key senators, including a senator named Tal Allura. However, the position as proconsul has protected Sela in general from any direct action. She has since taken command of the Tal Priaxa. The Tal Priax is how it's pronounced, which is known as the Praetorian Guard. Obviously, that's this group right here. That's all stuff that Teketh knows and needs to tell people if he's going to tell anyone that. Up until recently, yeah, that's not information that matters. So that's basically what's going
I'm
on.
super interested in all of this because I like highly diplomatic games, but if nobody else is interested in this and this isn't going anywhere,
well,
all I'm mainly looking for is how can I exert political pressure on this?
Right.
one?
I wrote it from the perspective of Teketh telling you guys, so what is there is it's hard to sort out from what I have, what Teketh knows. In essence, though, what it comes down to is that Sela has managed to maneuver herself in a way that she is essentially in charge of the Romulan Star Empire. And since that has happened, people have started disappearing, including Toshari, one of the many people who has disappeared since this all started, since this all started moving into power. And a lot of the connections, this is where we go back to the beginning of the season, where we were talking about the Empire has started kind of retracting itself and is pulling its diplomats, and it's all that stuff is shutting down. That all starts with Sela taking control. And she's kind of like, she's definitely fortifying her position is the impression that Starfleet is getting. And again, a lot of the stuff is only kind of known. It's the Federation's eyes in the Empire have been closed. They don't know a lot, which is the whole point of, why some of these people that have gone missing it's been so important.
Okay. So Jack has some cool diplomatic things I think I can do, but I don't think Ambrose has all the information required. So what I'm hearing is Ambrose doesn't have enough information from all these various sources to know how to exert political pressure on this lady.
It'd be difficult. You know that she's definitely a direct connection to Sela. So if she's feeling pressure now, it is likely she's getting directly pressured from Proconsul Sela, because whatever they're after is something that could be a threat to either the Empire as a whole, which is unlikely to be given that this particular group of people is out here looking for them, or as a direct threat to Sela, which is far more likely given that this is the Praetorian Guard out here doing something. It isn't the fleet. It isn't a Tal Shiar group. It isn't anything like that. Right. This is specifically the Praetorian Guard, whose job is to protect Romulus and the Proconsul.
And this Commander Oren is one of like the top Tal Priex.
Yes. Yeah, she's
officials.
Among the top of the group.
Direct counselor to
she's a direct fleet commander.
Sela.
Yeah, she'd be a direct fleet command of this group. She's not the only one, but she's one of the top ones.
All right, let's get back to flying around so they can shoot at us.
Yes, because that's coming.
I feel like I'm starting to lose Brian.
There's a lot going on here. So, with that, you've got your information. They start scanning the area and doing their thing. On the shuttle, your sensors are a little diminished, but the Mendek is looking at the stuff, and there's a Federation ship that has stopped in the same system with the Tal Priexia. Worf kind of looks over his shoulder. It's a small ship.
I mean, right now, I mean, we'll take what we can get. That's very serendipitous. Can we see who it is?
Yeah, Silva, you take a quick look, and it looks to be the Europa.
It's the Europa.
Huh. Did they know we were out here? I didn't tell anyone. Tell anyone? We weren't supposed to tell anyone.
Nope. Maybe they followed the Romulans. We are pretty close to the neutral zone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we have a leaky small Romulan shuttle and a Federation starship against 4, possibly 6 brand new warbirds. That's better.
Well, I think we should sit tight till they leave. I'm sure the captain's not bucking any Romulans running around the Federation.
You sure?
I hope.
Is this comet moving through that system, or is that system over there and the comet's over here because we tried to like fake them out?
It's not going to go through that system, but it's not super like it's heading in the same direction as that system, but it won't go through that system.
We are too far away for impulse speeds to matter.
Yeah, you'd have to go to warp.
Gotcha.
Although, I mean, you're talking like warp 1 gets you there in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So it's not far.
Are we in position that we could reach the Europa before we were blasted out of the sky by the Romulans?
With some good flying, you could probably do it. Yeah. Once you come out of warp, unless you come out really close to the Europa, they might have an opportunity. But so with some good flying, you could make Europa's shield bubble pretty quick. You could also just come out in their bubble zone if you wanted to. You couldn't come out if the shields are up. You couldn't come out in them. That would be really bad for everyone. But if the shields are down, you could get real close with some good flying.
With Silva's trickery of the warp signatures, though, they don't know we're here, correct?
Correct.
At the moment, but it will only take them it's only a matter of time before they either track down all of the warp signatures that they've done or figure out which one is decaying the slowest or which one is the most recent. And they will eventually figure it out. It just might take them a while.
Right.
So we either play a game of Red Rover, try to make it over to the Europa, or we wait here for the Romulans to leave.
Right. And hope they don't come towards you.
I don't think that the latter one is all that likely, but I have an idea. It's crazy, even for my standards. But I saw this in a holo novel once, and I know it doesn't always work that way in real life. But I saw this program once where the similar situations. They extended their warp bubble around the asteroid. Can we do that? Can we extend the warp bubble around the asteroid and just fly the whole asteroid over?
I think the Romulans would notice a warping asteroid.
Oh yeah, they definitely see it, but I mean, they'd shoot the asteroid, not us. I mean, like you said, Red Rover. That's one of the they did that back in the academy, where you'd like throw somebody against another line of people. It wasn't really my thing, but I imagine, if you take a person, especially like a little Ferengi, and you strap them to a boulder and roll them into a line of people, it'd be a lot more effective.
I think we'd lose a lot of our acceleration and maneuverability if we dragged around a meteor along with us. And I also don't think it would provide that much traction, since they would destroy it pretty easily.
So you wanna wrap your warp bubble around the comet and move the comet into.
That's what.
I mean, it would make an awesome weapon.
Yeah. So yeah. Tong is like, let's chuck this asteroid at the Romulans and break away.
It would be difficult to do.
Probably a stupid idea. No, it probably really is a stupid idea.
Yeah, it would be difficult to do, but I mean, it's plausible. You'd run the risk of tearing the shuttlecraft apart, but you could certainly hope that you did it fast enough that you got within range of Europa to beam out once the shuttle was no longer viable. But there's other options as well. The waiting could work. Again, though, you run the risk with that of them just figuring out where you're at or coming to look for you in the system. Which they'd be hard pressed to find you in the comet. You could make a mad dash for the Europa. That's an option.
Yeah, I think mad dash is our best bet. What do you guys think?
Less interesting than turning ourselves into a comet flail, but higher chance of success.
Well, I mean, if we're just going to make a run for it anyway, why not make a run for it with the comet?
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we'd be able to move as fast with the comet.
So I think I think what you're going for is as soon as you got into the system, you'd no longer have the comet as part of your thing. So it'd be slower to get into the system, quote unquote. You'd be less maneuverable to get into the system because you'd be under warp or you'd be having the comet. But as soon as you're out of warp and letting it just go, I don't think it would really affect your momentum, your ability anymore. But you'd have a comet that is kind of tough to aim from where you're at, and hitting the Europa is an option. With a comet would be bad.
Right. Well, I was just thinking. You said we could get from here to there, in like a minute or so at warp 1, and shuttles usually go faster than warp 1.
Yeah.
So we extend the warp bubble. We no longer can go warp 4, but maybe we can do warp 1, and we just throw it in the direction of the system.
Yeah, I got what you're going for. I don't think it's I don't know that it's an easy idea, but I don't hate the idea.
Oh no,
I think it's interesting.
It's an incredibly difficult, stupid idea.
Yeah,
but it is one of those flashy action movie scenes. I think
absolutely an action.
You were
movie
asking
scene.
for a lot of. You were asking for more tense, actiony moments. I'm trying to throw a comet at you.
It's I don't hate the idea. I would certainly allow the attempt.
We don't need to do it.
I don't know that it would affect. I get where Brian's coming from too. I don't think once you guys are in system, I don't think the comet would be a problem for you anymore. You could certainly maneuver quickly around the comet. It would just be a difficult role to get the comet into the system.
I also don't think it would provide that much benefit to us in there.
That's up to you guys. It's all about you. What you want to do.
I don't see why they wouldn't just be able to vaporize the comet.
They could.
I mean, it's just rock.
But if they're spending their time vaporizing the comet, that means less time spent vaporizing us.
Well, then they'll just vaporize us. I don't see why I don't see how the comet benefits us in this scenario, I suppose.
Right. It's up to you guys.
All right. Yeah.
What do you think? Comet?
I'm talking in Tong.
Yeah. Tong is for the idea. Silva is not for the idea.
Teketh is not for the idea. He is for whatever is going to get us out of here, the most likely in one piece.
Well, we don't know what is most likely to succeed. Is the problem. But if you're,
I mean, the way you guys are rolling, you probably just grab a planet and throw it at him. I don't know. All right. Sounds like Mendek is definitely not for the idea, although he doesn't really get a huge say in the matter. But but Mendek is like, that's comets are bad. Okay. The GM, I'm for it. I'm 100%, 1000% for it. But I don't know how that would play out. So do what you guys want to do.
So let's just do a straight run. Just counting on our maneuverability to get us through.
Okay. So your plan is to what exactly do you want to do? You're going to make a run for the Europa with the shuttle.
Right.
Where do you want to come out? Do you want to come out close to the Europa, kind of far away, but behind Europa? I mean, you have a straight shot. You can do whatever. You can end up in system anywhere you want. Behind the Romulans, behind Europa, between the two, as close to Europa as you can get.
As close to the Europa as we can get. We're going to the Europa.
Right.
So,
I need to ask, I guess, Ambrose, what are your shield status?
Right? Or do we come out
our shields would be up. We're at least at yellow alert. Our
Right.
shields would definitely be up.
Right.
But I don't think we're at red alert because that seems provocative.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
I thought we said something about red alert earlier.
Yeah, I feel like red alert is appropriate here. We're staring down a bunch of Romulans.
I mean, red alert. The difference between red alert and yellow alert in this particular situation, I think, is just the color of the light that's blinking.
Well, I think red alert means all of our weapon systems are powered
active.
on. They're locked on. They are ready to go. Whereas yellow alert, we just have our shields on, and we have to say be prepared to fire instead of just fire.
Right. All right. Either way, shields are up. So that means that you guys can get pretty close, but you can't get right next to Europa. because you would, collide with the shields.
We'll get as close as we can.
Yep.
I mean, we can't warp straight to the. Normally when you warp into the system and then you drop to impulse speed, so you don't run into a planet or an asteroid or a satellite or something. You don't have our ship here and you go.
Right, but you can do that if you have enough skill to do it, because they do it in a couple episodes.
Yeah, warp has maneuverability. We can just warp past the Romulans. The Romulans can also shoot us in warp. Like, that's the thing. It's not just. This isn't hyperspace where we're in another dimension and time.
Right.
We're in real space, just moving really quickly.
The difference, well, we'll go into that in a second, but it's going to be difficult.
Relativistic speeds. So if we're at warp and they're not at warp, we're moving too fast for them to shoot. If they're moving at warp and we're moving at warp, we could. It's like firing from a car to another car, then on the street firing at a car.
They're moving at the faster than the speed of you're moving at faster than the speed of light. They wouldn't have a chance to lock onto you unless they knew you were coming from a ways away.
And
Star Trek is
weird.
Not always that consistent in what things can get to.
You're right, but in assume they're not going to be able to shoot at you until you're out of warp in this instance.
Okay.
The ability for the to get close to the Europa is there. It's going to be a difficult role because you're pinpointing your stop. You're not stopping out and then moving in for safety. You're deleting your safety of margin by getting right next to Europa. Normally you would drop out and then impulse in. You are going right up to it in warp. Kind of a Picard maneuver at longer range kind of deal. It's doable. It's definitely doable. Your difficulty would be, I'm going to say 3. I don't really have any more threat to give you to spend on this, but I'll say 3. And I do want to up the complication range by 1. So
I'll spend that momentum. Do we get the benefit of the shuttle on this? It should be assisting us with all these rolls too.
Yes, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Jeff, you're being a much nicer
it's an
GM than I certainly would be.
Yeah, it's an NPC ship, so it doesn't really have very high stats. So 1D.
I'm talking the whole situation. I'll take it.
This has not gone anywhere near the way I expected it to go, so I'm kind of winging it. Oh man, a 10? All right, well, the shuttle actually does give you 1.
That's the thing, is it? I think it's
nice.
All right. So 4. All right, so you come out from behind the comet and you enter into warp, and Mendek just kind of like leans back and is like, okay, this is all you. I got nothing. Worf gets a smile on his face, and you guys go into warp, and you come out of warp.
Bad plan when Worf likes it.
Yeah. You come out of warp. You're very close to Europa, at which point we will cut back to Europa. Europa, a Romulan shuttle has just warped into almost your shields from seemingly nowhere.
Do we fire?
Fire! Pull torpedoes.
Oh my God!
We're under attack.
Shoot it!
Okay.
And then,
so out of nowhere, a Romulan shuttle just warped like a kilometer off our bow.
Yeah,
like within a kilometer of your shield radius. Yeah. I don't have any way to do that, but I need to do it. Oh yes, I do. Okay. I am going to use an ability that is very rare. NPCs sometimes have their own threat. I'm going to use a threat from them.
You're the GM. You can do whatever the hell you want.
I can, but using the mechanics of the system, with the mechanics of the system, there is now interference coming from the Romulan warbirds. Communications jamming.
I like it. Hage will go. Captain, there's a rogue shuttle, rogue Romulan shuttle right off our. Well, she wouldn't know it's a rogue. There's a Romulan shuttle right off our port bow. It's close enough that it could do some real damage if it's loaded with explosives.
Where did that come from? That couldn't have come from the warbirds.
Yezebeth will begin working on a scan trying to figure out where it's from. I imagine that'll take a moment, though. So.
Yeah.
Doing that, Dasavi will reach out telepathically.
Yeah, I think Ambrose and Dasavi look at each other with the same idea, and we just
Okay.
interference doesn't work on telepathy.
It does not. You definitely detect the life signs that are, or the minds aboard the ship, which are 2 Romulans, a Klingon, a Ferengi, and a, I don't know, you're Bajoran or is she human?
Ferengi.
You can't detect Ferengi. There's one that is not there. And I don't know if Silva's human or is she Bajoran.
Human.
Human. All right. At which point, I imagine Yezebeth would see that the Romulans have activated their phaser, their disruptor banks, and are moving in.
I feel like the Romulans should get at least one shot off.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, you guys are going to lower your shields? That's not going to be a good idea no matter what. Anybody can lower their shields?
Not yet.
Can I assist Yezebeth?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a quick roll so we can get some momentum built up, as you guys have none. This will be a sensors roll to be able to detect where the ship came from. What were you going to say, Ev?
Would Silva feel familiar?
Probably.
Not necessarily like not knowing who she's looking for, that, oh yeah, that's Silva, but would it be a
familiar mind? Yeah. Hang on 1 second. My door just slammed really hard. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
So Kendall, can you remind the audience, and certainly not me, because I know who you are and what you're doing, who you are?
She's the communications officer, Lieutenant Dana Sewell.
All right.
Yeah, maybe you can try and punch through the interference with the communication system.
I do have a focus in computers.
Are you on our list here?
Yeah.
Our crew sheet?
Yeah,
I am
Where is that?
under the science department.
Science department. I'm only seeing O'Connor.
I am returned.
Yeah, you're not on the crew sheet on the drive, but
Yeah, the
she's on
Europa
the
sheet.
roll 20.
Oh, okay. Well, again, remind the audience, because I certainly remember. What flavor alien are you?
Bajoran.
You're Bajoran. All right, cool.
All right. With that, go ahead and make your roll. Europa will assist. With
So this is to try to determine where the shuttle came from?
Yes, and really to build momentum.
Okay. Sensors focus applies, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 successes.
Plus 2 from Europa, so 4. So you get 2 momentum. You were going to assist with the Bajoran. So you would roll a single die, making sure that you click on the 2 skills that you would use. So reason and science, I think. Kendall.
Sorry. Reason and science.
Yeah.
And 1 dice.
All right. So you guys have 3 momentum.
Thanks.
You definitely see where the starship came from, where it came from, that comet area over there. But you gained 3 momentum, so that's really what that was about.
Can I try to break through the communications stuff?
Oh, you're a communications officer, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You can, but I get to go first. So,
okay.
Because you guys made your action to determine where that was coming from. So we are in pseudo combat rounds. Oh, that is not at all what I want to do.
Could Dasavi picked up familiar minds. With my empathy, can I pick up their please let us in, please let us in, please let us in?
There's definitely some level of panic for sure.
Okay.
You would also, have you ever met Worf before? You might recognize that feeling mind too. I don't know if you have. The Romulans open fire.
You would have to tell me.
Yeah, probably not. the Romulans open fire on the shuttlecraft, and the first firing they do misses because I don't have any threat to spend more dice. So they open fire and it misses. What do you guys get? We are in combat rounds. It is your guys' turn.
Remember that the Romulan warbird also gets to assist on their roll.
Oh yeah, that's right. I missed anyway. We'll do it then. I'll come back to it. It should be 3d6, right? I forgot how NPC ships work because I almost never use NPC ships. So
yeah, so it's based on the NPC crew quality,
right,
and then you add the space frame statistic, and then the space frame assists with its own stats.
I gotcha.
I'll post it in Discord.
Yeah,
the NPC stuff. Yeah. So you said it was our turn again.
it is the player's turn. Whichever side wants to go. Either Europa or the shuttle can go.
I say we have our communications officer try and break through the interference.
All right.
I vote.
That is a contested roll. Your difficulty is based on my difficulty that I roll. So go ahead and roll. You have to roll at least 2 dice.
So that's under the task roll, right? I'm still figuring out how.
Yeah. So it would be probably. I'm on the wrong page now. Go back to that. It would probably be either control or reason, and I don't know what comms are under, either science or security, probably in that particular case.
Usually engineering.
Could be engineering, yeah.
Well, can I use engineering?
Sure.
And with the focus in computers, does that help at all, or what does that add?
Yeah, that would add. So it doesn't add. It basically means that any die you make, it's a focus. So on the character sheet, you click that you have a focus for it. I mean, what it does is it actually, any dice you roll that are under your skill. So if your skill is 4 and you roll a 1, 2, 3, or 4, it counts as 2 successes rather than 1.
Cool. All right, so I'm rolling 2 dice and.
Oh. And your difficulty is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Sorry, 3. So your difficulty is 3. You have 2. You can spend momentum if you want to add additional dice to that.
Yeah, I will do that. So do I just do the 1 dice?
Yeah, just roll 1 now to go with it. So 3. So that is your difficulty. You both got 3. 3 is the target number that you had to reach because you're trying to counter them. So you get a really rough comm signal. It's definitely being interfered with, and it's not going to stay open for long. But you can get a signal through to the shuttle. So the shuttle is being hailed. I assume that is what Ambrose would want it to be doing.
It's not going to stay open for long. Be quick about it.
You have a comm channel to the shuttlecraft if you want it, basically.
Captain, I have a rough signal open. It won't stay open for long. Quick about it.
They held the ship. Let's see what they want.
Jalila.
I imagine Silva's the one sitting. Silva and Mendek are probably the ones sitting in the main seats, but you'd see the rest of the other 3 behind them.
Sure. Yeah. So Silva will answer. Oh, thank God, Europa. It's us. Look.
So this is where you decided to take your leave of absence.
Look, we don't have time to banter. We've got valuable political prisoners. We need to beam them over immediately, before this ship bites it.
You put us in a very difficult position there, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Put us in a very difficult position there, Lieutenant. We'll move to come in between you and the Romulans. Hug our shields. We can't take them down just yet. Match our speed as we skirt our way to the starbase. We'll try to hold this off as long as we can.
Aye, aye.
All right. The Romulans will go again. This time I'm going to fire.
if I can make a suggestion, maybe tractor beams.
Yep, that's what I was going to go with.
Where we haven't really been, I don't know if we've been following initiative. I probably missed it, but Ambrose does have the that ability to retain.
Yeah, you'd had to gone first for that to be able to function.
I didn't realize we were.
You haven't gone. You didn't go first, so it wouldn't have applied. You can go on.
Okay.
Or I think you can do it on your first turn, so you could do it now.
It's during the first round, so
yeah. So you could do it now.
Yeah. Do you want to do that? Spend money, or you can do it for free, right?
Yeah, I think I could just do that for free.
I think you get it once. Yeah. So yeah, you can make it. You basically can make the Europa do. The players get another action. So either you can maneuver the Europa or have the shuttle do something.
Yeah, I'd say we retain the initiative so that we can, set up that maneuver, interpose the Europa between the shuttle and the Romulans.
All right. So you're going to maneuver, maintaining initiative, moving the Europa between. Okay, cool.
I brushed up on my my person-to-person combat. I did not brush up on my starship combat, so I don't know what all the action economy is.
I didn't either. So this is going to be what it is. As you maneuver into position, the Romulans are going to two of the Romulan ships cloak and begin moving around. Two of the ships begin moving in sort of a pincer fashion, and they don't seem to really care that Europa is in between. One of them is moving to the left and is going to try to tractor beam the shuttle. It is going to be more difficult because of your positioning. My difficulty will be 3. 3. I need to have made ships is what I needed to do. I didn't do that. So I can quickly have typed in.
I think you should just use the Derrick's stats. I posted them in the Discord.
What I meant was more for clicking. For button clicking and stuff. Otherwise, I don't have to type all the numbers in.
Sure. I mean, what I normally do is I just roll the number of d20s and do the math in my head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm going to do. I just have to type in the roll so the system rolls, so the computer sees the roll.
Sure.
Because I don't want to roll just, dice on my table. Not fair. Oh, God, I missed so hard. All right.
Love it.
So the one Derrick's class, or the one, not Derrick's, the Romulan warbird begins moving in to activate the shuttle, the tractor beam. And something on that ship does not function properly. And the tractor beam fizzles because I got a complication.
That was a 17, 19, and 20 for our podcast listeners.
Yes. Yeah, it was a bad roll. It was a great D&D roll. You guys have been screwed in D&D, which is, what Roll20 is built for. So while it's cheating to make D&D better, it is screwing over Star Trek. But the players get to go again. You guys have an action. The Romulans are definitely making an offensive maneuver.
My suggestion, because again, I don't know action economy, and I would take this time to have a whole conversation monologue bit on the bridge. But Jack's suggestion is that we send out a broad beam message to everybody, to the Romulans, to the starbase, to the outpost, saying that there is Romulan offensive action being taken by the proconsuls. What is it? The proconsul's direct commander of the Tall Pre-X.
Right. That would work, except that
system.
They are still jamming systems. You got a communication into the shuttlecraft. That was all you got.
Oh.
So they're jamming outward communications.
Well, never mind.
Yeah.
if you want suggestions on like what you can do in Starship Combat, the ship rolls handout at the top of the Roll20 lists all the stuff that you can do for your position.
Basically, anything you want to do, we can do a lot of this narratively because that's what this combat really is narrative combat. So we can do, you can have the ideas of whether they're there, but anything you want the ship to do, we can basically try to do. Just remembering that you are currently in a communications issue, and you used your communications action this round essentially to contact the shuttlecraft.
I just know Jack personally is a big nerd for action economy. So I'm here like, okay, what's our movement action? How many actions can I take? How many things can I do per shots that they get to take? So
the way it basically works is they get a number of actions equal to their crew scale, their crew size, which in this case is, I think, 5.
Their scale.
Their scale. Yeah, that's what I meant. Their scale. They have already done, they've done now 2, right? 1, 2. They've done 2. You've done also 2 because you held your economy. The way it works for your ship is every player gets to do an action. Each station can act once. So you can fire weapons. You can fire phasers once. You can fire torpedoes once. You can fire a tractor beam once if you really wanted to. You could maneuver once. You can all that. Anything the station does, anything the ship does, you can do once. And then on top of that, you have characters who can do additional things, including some of them can be like, do that action again kind of thing.
So purposeful movement of the ship is an entire round action using, maneuverability.
Right. Yeah. But it changes the difficulty of what you are being like. If you're going to do a maneuvering action, like if you're doing a defensive action, it would change the difficulty to hit your ship for the entirety of that round until the next round's movement actions begin. If that makes sense.
Well, I think Ambrose is just going to call out to the bridge. Let's try not to make this an extended firefight. Maximize defensive positions and maneuvering.
Sounds like a rally to me.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, that's a presence plus command roll, and it basically just generates momentum.
Yep.
As long as we have a way out of this.
So it's one of the command abilities, basically.
Yep. You could also direct to make another player, like it sounded like you were giving orders. So if you want to give a specific character an order, you can use your turn for that.
Yeah, basically,
I think that was Jack speaking through Ambrose saying, "Hey, bridge crew, this is what I want you to do. Somebody do your job."
Okay, well, direct is more specific.
Right.
So who do you want to do the job? You get to pick who does their job, and they do it.
Right. They basically take your action.
Okay. Yeah. I just feel like I've been talking a lot, and I know it's been said before that sometimes I can hog the spotlight. So I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to suggest doing your own things.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's do this way. We'll jump into some.
Also trying to figure out like what our end goal is and how exactly to get there, because generating momentum doesn't really help us when 6 warbirds are going to be firing at us.
Right. So here's what we're gonna do. We'll move into some more narration here. The Europa begins moving between the shuttlecraft and the warbirds. The one warbird begins moving in, and obviously something doesn't go right. It doesn't make an attack action. Ambrose, you want the crew to be more defensive. Are you going to return fire is the real question. Or are you going to try to just keep it as safe as possible and like directing your shields and
yeah, I want to prioritize defensive capabilities, defensive maneuvers. Yeah, and Ambrose would order not to fire on the warbirds unless we are directly fired upon.
Okay.
Okay.
Even if it looks like they're going after the shuttle, which is super close to us, unless they directly shoot at us, to not fire.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to direct ops to direct more power into shields?
We could do that. Yeah. Could we just extend the shields around the shuttle?
Yep.
Instead of dropping shields so they can come in, can we just?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our bubble?
Yep.
Yeah. That would be ops, or should I call down to engineering?
That's ops it's ops or tactical. So it would either be Mills or Elizabeth. They would do that.
The internal systems department position is what does the shifts power into has control over shields, basically.
Yeah.
I
mean, in next gen, Worf does it all. So.
Yeah. Well, different characters. The system.
It's not really relevant. Someone can do it if you want them to do it. So.
I think Ambrose is associating Mills with tactical, and he associates tactical with blowing things up. So yeah, he's gonna direct Yesbeth. Ensign Hage, direct more power to our shields. We need to attenuate them and expand them beyond around the shuttle. We need to get them protected.
Okay. So Yesbeth will try and push the shields. She'll reroute power from. Actually, you don't even really need to choose what you're rerouting.
No, it doesn't matter. The ship has a power of like 8. So
yeah, so she'll reroute more into shields, giving us more shield regeneration.
Right. You're also extending the shields beyond. I assume that's what he was asking you to do. Are you also extending the shields beyond the normal range to encompass the shuttlecraft?
That's not really covered under the rules. So you tell me what I need to do that.
It would just be basically you would extend your shields. You're putting more power and you extend the shields to a wider range. You don't change your regeneration or anything like that. You just are now covering the shuttle as well.
Do you want me to do a roll for that, or
if you want to, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we're not super deep into the mechanical combat weeds here, so
I'll extend the shields. You just tell me what I need to do in order to do that.
All right. Let me see here. Probably control in either engineering or security.
Okay. I will do control engineering. I will spend a momentum. That's 4 successes.
Okay.
And this would be assisted by my presence command because it was a direct.
Yep.
Yeah. Also the ship, but I'm not going to roll the ship because it's too many things for me to click on. Somebody else wants to roll it, they can, but
yeah, I'll do it.
So the shields extend out around the shuttlecraft, and the warbirds are beginning to continue to move in. And these dice are crap. The Romulans do open fire again, 11 damage to the Europa.
Okay.
Europa explodes.
Our shield decreased that by 4. We take 5 damage.
Did you reduce? I did reduce your resistance by 2.
You're right. So that's 7 damage.
I'd say since the shuttle is inside the Europa shields, we should have the shuttle drop the shields, and then we can transport everybody into the Europa and set the shuttle to like autopilot, like rapid away. Tong's going to start beaming people over, and she's going to look to Silva program the. I would suggest programming some sort of autopilot. Rapid away something so it looks like the ship is fleeing while we get the hell out of here.
Yes.
Silva will set up a scram program or a evasive maneuvers program, and she'll be the last one off the ship. She insists everybody else go first.
You set up the program and everybody beams aboard Europa. You're on shuttle pad 3, and the ship the shuttlecraft begins maneuvering out of it pushes through the shield system, which is not great for Europa's shields, but it's all right. Is Europa shooting back at the ships? Just narratively speaking, are you going to be shooting back at them?
No.
Okay. So continuing
not until it looks like the ship is legitimately
endangered.
Okay. Yeah.
So your shields are currently at, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but they're up still. The shuttlecraft, you get a notification from Tong and Silva that they've beamed aboard, or that they're beaming aboard. As soon as they beam in, the shuttle tech, the transporter tech tells you, Captain, I've got them. And then the shuttle is moving off through the shields, kind of making an erratic maneuvering thing. The two warbirds that had previously cloaked both decloak and fire torpedoes, which is way too excessive for a.
Silva is going to, as soon as everybody else is beamed away, she's going to raise the shields.
Okay. That's not not going to stop it for long.
No, she's going to calm. She knows that the program's not going to fool anybody. They need to think that somebody's on this shuttle when it's destroyed.
Right.
And she's going to be the daredevil.
Okay.
She's staying on the shuttle.
Yes.
Okay. They still fire torpedoes at the shuttle.
Okay.
2 warbirds firing torpedoes at the shuttle. So that's going to do a lot of damage. That shuttle probably can't survive that. So
probably not.
Yeah, Tong runs as soon as he realizes that Silva is not there. Tong runs from the pad to the transporter table, pushes the guy out of the way, and is just pounding on those keys. But the shields are up, so nothing's happening.
Can we have one of the torpedoes hit? Then Tong can try and beam Silva out, and then the other torpedo hits.
Possibly. I rolled 2 because I have a complication. I will let Tong make the difficult roll to try to transport you out. So 10 damage from the torpedoes. Tong, the first torpedo hits. You get a quick signal from as the shields are collapsing, and as the second torpedo, just in the split second before the second torpedo hits, you can make a difficult transporter action. I do believe that the rules of the game would state this is probably a difficulty of 4.
Okay, so 3 momentum will bump me up to a total of 4 dice.
It'll add 2, so yes, 4 dice.
Okay. I'm looking for a difficulty of 4.
I've got 1. 3 more.
I've just assisted with 1. Yeah, I mean we've kind of been shipping Tong and Silva here, at least trying to. Could I use my determination for a character bond, or does it specifically need to be a value that I have?
It doesn't necessarily have to. It's supposed to tie to a value, but I have to do everything I can to live up to the confidence others have in me. Is a pretty good value for this.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it.
So that would add 2 successes automatically, but it counts as a die roll. So you have 3. You need to get 1 more.
Okay. So I'm rolling 4 dice.
You're rolling 4 dice.
Complication range
is normal because I don't have any threat to add more. So
okay.
I would say, it should be at least 1.
Yeah. Cool. Complication range 2.
Complication range is 2. So
okay. Tong do Tong. Wow.
Ooh. Oh.
Wow. Wow. Well, the determination means I bought 2 successes, so that is 4.
Yeah, you have 4. So that's total of 5.
That's 1. So that's total of 5.
So the total of 5.
Tong is freaking out.
You managed to latch on to her signal. It's beginning to fade as the energy from the exploding shuttlecraft feeds back into the transporter system, and you're rapidly making calculations and shifting things around. And
you can't shoot down my cool idea and then do this nonsense, Silva.
we could have used a comet. After a few seconds of struggling through it, there's a panel that bursts on the side of the transporter pad, and Silva materializes. The shuttle is dead. The transporter is still functional, but there's smoke and the rocks for no reason. Console rocks floating around the transporter bay. But she managed to appear more smudged than you would expect for someone who was in an explosion for less than a second. But makeup effects to make sure we know that she was almost dead.
I really wish I rolled some complications there.
It would have been nice. I
send Silva, she materializes and gets thrown across the room.
Materializes in the future. All right. So the shuttle is destroyed. Silva is just barely beamed aboard. The Romulans are.
I was gonna run over and just tackle /hug.
Silva takes a second to realize she's not dead. She was fully expecting to die. And she says, Tong, you are one quick hand on that transporter.
Yeah. No, that's kind of. Don't do that.
I think she smiles and puts her arm around him.
Could have used a comment.
The Romulans begin. The two ships that fired recloak as they move past Europa, in a menacingly close fashion, just outside of the shield range, just sort of crossing the shield streams. The other two warbirds begin scanning the system, and then they scan the system, and then they drop the comm interference and cloak and begin moving off.
Without a word. I love it.
I don't know if we wanted to wrap anything up in this session, because when we pick up, I was not planning on picking up immediately after this, but we can in the cold open. I guess we could. I still have a few minutes. I just don't want to go another whole combat round, like whole other. The other scene that needed to happen in this session, we're not going to get to. I'll have to do it in another session. I guess we'll do a couple of them. What moment stands out most to you guys this evening?
That last moment where she went off to be self-sacrificed again, a little stupid.
Yeah.
I really liked Tong hiding in the shuttle, like spying on the Romulan. I don't know why. It was a good little moment.
Yeah. Annabelle, what's that, F?
I said agreed.
No, it was a really cool episode. I'm still trying to get out of my two very intense headspaces and come down from this.
Right.
I'm still like revved up. I'm like, okay, we have like another half hour of things we need to do for this episode. But
no, I don't disagree.
We're
but
closing.
It's what it is. So, anybody else have anything they want to add to the conversation, or if not, I'm good to go for the night.
Yeah, we got to do a Kendall heavy episode next week.
Yeah.
See all of Kendall's characters.
Yeah. We're gonna probably end up truncating some storyline next week to get Kendall in right away, but it is what it is. So,
like I said, it's fine. I know you'll have this story written out for a while now.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that like.
No.
Yeah, we'll get you in. This session just did not go really at all how I had written, how I envisioned it. Like basically in no way at all. I'm glad everybody had fun. That's what matters. I don't have anything else to add to the episode, so I guess. I added Kendall. I added you into the opening and closing credits, and Brian, I spelled your name right, so there we go.
Nice.
Thank you.
So,
Good job.
and that's it for me. So long, and thanks for all the fish.